very closely with the teams, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about some of the challenges coming from a non-engineering background and working very, very closely with our engineering teams, and kind of what ended up mattering most at the end kind of through that journey. So I majored in international relations. I knew that I wanted to study the world and I wanted to study people and languages. Didn't really know too much about what I wanted to end up pursuing in a job or where I wanted to work. And so I went through college having a lot of different experiences, and I graduated college pretty confused about how to get a job and where to get a job. My college was about 2 hours away from the heart of Silicon Valley, and so I figured it might be a good option to consider joining corporate America and joining a technology company to at least start understanding the ins and the outs and learning really anything that I could and start to understand what might be of interest to me in pursuing a career. So I didn't know too many people landing jobs in big technology companies, so I actually went to LinkedIn and found that a classmate of mine in college actually had just started there about 6 months prior to me graduating. And she was in a recruiting role, and so I reached out to her and she shared with me about what the opportunity was like and how much she enjoyed working with the different groups within the company. And she ultimately ended up referring me to the company, and I shortly after accepted an offer and moved to Silicon Valley. So I didn't have an engineering background. I didn't really know much about anything engineering related, and about 80% of my job was now going to focus on talking to engineers every day. Talking to pretty senior engineers at companies like Google and like Facebook and Twitter, and having to really understand, their background and having to understand the platforms that they work on and the languages that they use and the technologies that they want to work on. Not knowing anything about this. And not only did I have to understand, but I have to then help align them to their next career opportunity as a recruiter and listen to their interests and understand where that could fit at LinkedIn. So to say the least, this was very, very intimidating and very scary at the same time. And so in a lot of ways, I wanted to feel like I was going to be very strong in my role. This was my first job out of college, and I wanted to succeed, and I really didn't understand how I was going to be able to ultimately hire these people to the company if I didn't really understand their background. And so I really had to seek out a lot of mentorship. I reached out to not just people on my team, but really kind of taking that leap and talking to a lot of our engineering groups and understanding, what their different backgrounds were, and really started to get super fascinated about really kind of better understanding the world that I live in and a lot of the products that I use every day. In a lot of ways that started to be very empowering as well, to understand and really be knowledgeable about what's going on in the heart of Silicon Valley, in the market, and the world, and what all of these companies really do and how the products that I use really work. And so through a lot of this, and really through going to talks and seeking out, reading and kind of understanding the field a lot more, 3 years later, I've hired about close to 100 engineers for LinkedIn. I feel I can have strong conversations and understand and be excited and interested in what people are sharing with me across different engineering backgrounds. But I really feel that ultimately, I really do understand and am excited about the field in itself and being involved in everything from, understanding what we're doing at LinkedIn to being a part of technology programs like this. And I guess some of just the key takeaways from my experience, even though it's been a short one, is really to kind of take charge. If you have an opportunity, don't let that fear stop you, and seek out guidance and seek out mentorship. If you get a chance, whatever that chance is, even if you are already in a technology related field, take that opportunity, even if it doesn't align maybe what your plan was ultimately, or maybe if you don't know your plan. Some of the best personal and some of the best professional experiences that I've had, through my time in the field has really been through some of the most unexpected. So through my experience at LinkedIn, I met a recruiter who was a part of TechWomen, and so I can't say that I would necessarily even be here in your country experiencing all of this greatness here if it wasn't for kind of taking a leap of faith and going for a rather unexpected opportunity in my career. So thank you.